Kyron went to school that day early because it was the school science fair.
Try to imagine that morning and how excited he was. There's this exciting event, the science fair. You see all these cool experiments that your classmates did.
According to CNN affiliate KATU, at approximately 8 a.m., Kyron and his stepmom Terri Horman arrived at Skyline School.
People see Kyron at school with his science project early that morning. Terri took a picture of him in front of his science project.
Kyron was seen by the PTA president at 8:15. And at 8:45, Terri left the school to run errands at 2 local grocery stores.
The last time anybody saw him, he was with his stepmom.
For nearly 90 minutes, Terri then drove around northwest Portland in hopes of calming her 18-month-old daughter, who had an earache. Terri then worked out at a local 24-hour fitness before returning home, posting photos of Kyron at the science fair shortly after 1 p.m. And back at Skyline School, when classes began at 10 a.m., Kyron's teacher had marked him absent. And the school's absence notification system hadn't been installed yet.
It isn't until the school bus arrives in front of their house, and Kyron's not on that school bus, that people realize, hey, something's not right. He's not here.
Kyron's family had been talking to police, but were publicly silent the days following his disappearance.
We do anticipate them to speak at any moment. I can tell you they are now on site. They arrived here in a beige search and rescue van. We're escorted into a private room where they're now standing. We'll hear from them now.
Kyron, we miss you, we love you, and we need you home right now. We're doing everything we can to work with law enforcement and the search and the rescue crews to make sure that you can get back to us as soon as possible. You mean everything to us, and until you come home, this family is not complete.
We as the family know how difficult and stressful this is, but your memories and statements can help us find Kyron. If it was not for you showing Kyron on every newscast, printing his story in the papers, his face would not be known to everyone. People from around the nation have seen his picture. Please help us bring Kyron.
A week after that tearful plea, with Kane, Terri, and the rest of Kyron's family asking for help, police made an announcement of their own.
Detectives, along with Kyron's family, are asking the community's assistance regarding anyone who saw not only Kyron, but also who may have seen Terri Horman, his stepmother, and or the family truck that she was driving that morning, a white Ford F-250. Terri is the last known person to have seen Kyron before he disappeared.
In the weeks following Kyron's disappearance, police held a press conference and had a flyer that showed Kyron's face, Terri's face, and that white truck. And they said, if anybody has information about Terri or the white truck, please let us know.
Number one, nobody came forward and said yes, which is huge. Number two, if when they looked at the truck, there was no evidence that some body or blood had been in there, thus negating that he was deceased and she was traveling around with him in the truck. The fact that they looked at her makes sense because she was the last person who was supposed to be with him.
Terri had been interviewed by police early on and took 2 polygraph tests, both of which she failed.
Why do you think you failed the lie detector test?
Well, partially because of my hearing. I'm deaf in my left ear.
Why would being deaf in one ear affect a lie detector test?
Because I'm reading your lips as we're speaking. Also, I hadn't slept. I hadn't slept in days.
Did you at any time lie to police?
No.
A lot of people think if you flunk not 1 but 2 lie detector tests that there's got to be something going on.
Well, I think that they already had settled on me to be their patsy.
A polygraph examination is only designed to detect physiological changes in the human body of someone who possesses a conscience. Just because somebody passes a polygraph exam doesn't rule them out as a suspect, and just because someone fails a polygraph exam, that does not mean that they committed the crime itself.
Those 2 failed polygraph tests, followed by a divorce and a murder for hire allegation, meant heightened media scrutiny on Terri Horman in the summer of 2010.
Terri, how can you say Kyron?
Do you have anything to say about Kyron's disappearance?
Terri, do you know where Kyron is?
Why won't you talk to the media? Why won't you talk to us?
Terri, do you have anything to say to the public?
If you're innocent, why don't you defend yourself?
Can you please tell the world something?
For her to keep quiet was smart because they're looking to parse every word she says. How does she look? Did she move in a way that a guilty person moves, whatever that means? Did she answer the way an innocent person would answer, whatever that means? So it was smart of her to keep quiet. So for her to say, I know you're going to look at me, and there's nothing I can do to change how you're going to come at me, just better to keep quiet.
And in her 2016 interview with ABC News, she maintains that she had no involvement in Kyron's disappearance.
Did you have anything to do with his disappearance?
No, none. And I don't resent you asking that question, but it hurts my heart to even be asked. Every sense of the word, he's my son.
While the family appeared united at the press conference, behind the scenes, things were different.
We start to notice her lagging. She's sitting and focused on social media and responding to people posting negative things online and their opinions. The 3 of us are pacing and just going, and it doesn't matter. None of that matters.
We had a meeting with her in Kyron's room, asking her, pleading with her, do this polygraph, do whatever you have to do. She wouldn't commit to it.
That's, I think, when it starts to quickly start moving in the direction of, we don't understand what the problem is. If you're not involved, then you would do everything you possibly could to clear yourself. Right now, you're not. You're clearly not.
Terri said in her interview with People magazine that she did everything she was asked.
I did everything I could. Interviews, if you want to call it that, 6-7 hours at a time, no breaks or anything like that. I didn't care. Whatever needed to be done, I was willing to do. I'm referring to law enforcement. I'm referring to the biological parents. At what point are they going to realize I don't have the answers? I'm speaking now because nobody's looking for my son anymore. I want Kyron home. I love my son. There is no past tense. I want him home. And I can't fix this. I don't know how to fix this.
Terri Horman has never been named a suspect or a person of interest by the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office. From the very beginning, law enforcement has been tight-lipped about their investigation and whether they're any closer to finding Kyron. They declined HLN's request for an interview.
Law enforcement, they're releasing information to help solve the case while also keeping the public informed as much as possible, but they have to be careful of a couple things. The first is tainting a potential future jury pool. And number two, you don't want witnesses to have their perception of what occurred be tainted. And lastly, in this instance, law enforcement has to be very careful here not to give too much away to cause a killer or killers or kidnapper or kidnappers to adjust their tactics to avoid detection.
But there was still one avenue left for Desiree, who went looking for answers through the courts.
I hope that I am wrong, but I fear that he is gone forever. I'm asking the court to compel Terri to tell me where Kyron is.